A thread by Carlos Osuida. For rude Texan next door, I suppose that's what it means, Chronosphere, who tweets, "The bad guys have all read this book too," referring to Art of War. "When the cell door slams behind you, will you still be quoting it?" The psychological warfare is getting dumber. Now I'm going to be arrested for tweeting, for supporting Donald Trump, and he's referring to Sun Tzu's The Art of War. One, nobody on the Democratic side has studied Sun Tzu or Wang Jingzhe. Two, not going to jail. Three, the decline in the quality of leftist trolling is a sign of the decline in all things leftist. Every day, people come to me with scenarios that some panic-mongering guru spouted. I'm the official thinker, apparently, because I'm supposed to, once again, show how the scenario is not possible. Well, as annoying as it is, Trump uses that against the Democrats. They're just as incapable of rational thought as the people who vacuum up the panic du jour. Entire days of news coverage are devoted to things that never happened. All you need to do now is say something and the press believes it. No fact checking. But all the panic is relevant only to a minuscule percentage of the population. Neither conservatives nor liberal crazies will have an impact on the election, so Trump orchestrates a show that distracts from everything real he's doing. I know that people like Dan Crenshaw, but he just gave in to mob rule. From Breitbart.com, 72 Republicans vote to remove Civil War memorabilia from blah, blah, blah. This is exactly what we don't want from our representatives. But all elected representatives, except for Trump and Vice President Pence, are bought. So they do what the moneyed folks tell them to do. The monuments are being removed to appease urban terrorists. At some point, there will be legislation to remove Confederate monuments from Gettysburg, and Republicans like Crenshaw will vote for it. This is why I support only Trump and Pence. The rest are in it for money and power. A harsh truth, but truth nonetheless. This is a period of transition. Things are evolving, but almost all politicians are venal and vainglorious. We personalize our relationships with them at our peril. After what the Democrats have done to Trump, it's obscene that Republicans join with them to erase history. But people are limited. We need to remember the fable of Icarus. He flew too close to the sun, the wax in his wings melted, and he fell to his death. But nobody ever talks about the real issue. He made his wings from wax and feathers. It wasn't the sun that got him, it was his own limitations. Trump built his wings from material that could withstand everything. He spent decades preparing them. I've learned the hard way that most people are self-saboteurs. You see, the higher you fly, the more alone you are. And at some point, you're all by yourself. Most people shrink from the very idea, so they build wax wings that make sure they don't go too high. John Gillespie Magee, Jr. wrote the poem High Flight. Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter's silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of, wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the wind-swept heights with easy grace, where never lark or ever eagle flew. And while with silent lifting mind I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God. He was a Canadian fighter pilot who was killed on December 11th, 1941, at the age of 19. A midair collision did him in, but he soared. Trump slipped the surly bonds of Earth a long time ago. He's not afraid, and neither am I. A herd is a bigger target. The protection of being part of a herd is an illusion. The herd exists to make sure the species survives, not the individual. In a herd, you're expendable, Dan Crenshaw. The Democrats won't love you for voting with them to appease the mob, but some of life's lessons must be learned the hard way.